Hello, welcome back, guys. Welcome back to the prediction videos. The UEFA Champions League prediction videos are officially back. I haven't done a Champions League prediction video since May 2025, and it was the final prediction video where I correctly predicted PSG to win, and now the Champions League predictions after like 9 months are back. And we have some exciting matchups coming up. Yep, we do have some exciting matchups coming up. And you know what? We are gonna have some rematches of games that already happened in the league phase. So yeah, and trust me, you're gonna want to stay until the end because I might have some upsets in this video. So yeah, so let's get right into it. So starting off with our first matchup, which is Galatasaray versus Juventus. So, starting off with Galatasaray, they finished, I think it was like 19th in the league phase, but where they collected like 8 points or 9 points. So they did. And Galatasaray, they have like great players like Victor Osimhen, Ilkay Gundogan, Leroy Sané, etc. Like Victor Osimhen, the man up top, the Nigerian striker, is really good. He can punish other teams' defenses when they're sleeping. But Galatasaray, of course, first in the Turkish league as expected. And yeah, well, they did get some good results, but like I think the shocking results were like probably losing 5-1 to Frankfurt away in the Champions League and losing 1-0 to Union Saint Gilloise. I don't know how to pronounce it, man. So yeah. So and now moving on to Juventus. So far, at the start of the season, it was like they started off like pretty poorly. Well, they had 4 draws, 3 wins, and actually 1 loss. They just collected too many draws in the Champions League, where they were in surprising fashion. They actually beat Bodo Glimt 3-2. Bodo Glimt is a tough place to go, and they actually beat them 3-2. And they also got like but the only defeat they collected was against Real Madrid, where they lost 1-0. But at the start of the Champions League, they tied, what a peak entertainment game, against Dortmund. They tied 4-4, dang, 4-4. Then they tied like one of the worst teams in the Champions League, Villarreal, who finished 35th. And yeah, then they got to their form again, with Spalletti taking charge like in November of 2025. So yeah, Juventus right now, I'm recording this after the Derby d'Italia, where they actually lost 3-2 in what a game of football that was to watch, where Inter won 3-2 in the last minute. That was a really good and entertaining game of football to watch. So yeah. Juventus, they have players like Weston McKennie, the American. Who else? Jonathan David is finding his form after having a poor start with him earlier on in the season. They also have Ken Yildiz. Kalulu got like a very soft red card today. I don't know why, but the 5th in the Serie A with 46 points. So, what do I think of this game? I think it's gonna be very, very close. We also Juve today. I think Juve were the better team against Inter today. They can prove that they're good, but I just think that traveling away to Galatasaray away is always a difficult task. So I think that Galatasaray, they're gonna win the first game 2-1. That's my prediction. And then, so I think Juve is gonna go through. Juve will go through. Juventus will go through after losing 2-1. I think they're gonna come back. They're gonna win 2-1, and the game is gonna be decided by penalties. Sorry, Galatasaray, but I just think Juventus are gonna go through. So yeah, now moving on to Monaco against PSG. Starting off with Monaco, they finished 21st in the Champions League, where they collected some like heavy defeats, like losing 6-1 to Real Madrid and losing 4-1 to Bruges on the opening match day. So okay, but then they kind of found their form. They actually tied 2-2 to Manchester City, which is actually pretty impressive. And they also beat Galatasaray, the team we talked back previously. So I think Monaco, but so far they're like doing really bad in League One. They actually won a game after like their first win since like November, where they actually beat PSG. Fun fact, in League One, and Monaco, they're 10th in League One, which is actually bad because they have 18 teams instead of 20 League One. But yeah, I think they have like some good players like Florian Balogun, the young American sensation. Paul Pogba is back. Ansu Fati, my ex-Barcelona player, balling out for Monaco. I love to see it, etc. So I think that Monaco could be the kryptonite of PSG, but PSG are just simply on a different level. Like, come on, how are they in the playoffs? Like, they were the best team in the world last season, where they won the Champions League, destroying Inter Milan 5-0 in the UCL final. But then they've kind of fallen off this season. Like right now, they're second in League One, which is just surprising. RC Lens is first in the league. Yes, you heard me correctly. RC Lens are first. PSG, they finished 11th in the league phase with collecting 14 points. So, well, they did get some good results. Like, they slapped the hell out of Atalanta 4-0 on the opening match day. Then they beat my club, FC Barcelona, 2-1. That game just hurt as a Barcelona fan. But then they dropped points to like Bayern Munich, where they lost 2-1. And they also dropped points to Sporting and Athletic Bilbao. So, PSG, they have like some really good players. Like they have players like Ousmane Dembele, Kvaratskhelia, Desiree Doué, Vitinha, João Neves, Fabian Ruiz, Nuno Mendes, Ashraf Hakimi. You can go on and on and on. But the problem with PSG this year is that they're having way too many injury issues, and that's why I think that PSG might struggle against Monaco. So here's my prediction. I think it's gonna finish a 1-1 draw in the first game, but in the second game, I think PSG are going to slightly win 2-1 and advance to the next round. So, sorry, Monaco, I got PSG advancing. Now, moving on to our next game, we have Atalanta against Borussia Dortmund. So, for this game, Atalanta, currently right now 7th in the Serie A, which is not bad, because they're pushing to fight for a European spot. But Como, the team from Italy, is in 6th place. So, yeah. So, Atalanta, they finished 14th, 15th in the league phase. 15th, and Dortmund finished 14th. So, 14th and 15th face each other. So, Atalanta, as I previously mentioned, they got slapped up by PSG on the opening game, then they found their form. But like they have some issues, like they just lost Adomela Lookman, one of Atalanta's most important players. Lookman transferred to Atletico Madrid. So yeah, I think that Atalanta might struggle in this game but they do have some good players like Charles de Keertelay. I don't know how to pronounce it, but I think that's how you say it. Their goalkeeper is also really good, Karnaseki. I don't know how to pronounce as well. Skamaka, I believe. I don't even know if he plays for Atalanta, but like, so I just think that like Atalanta might struggle because Dortmund, they're 2nd in the Bundesliga, doing really well. Currently on 49 points, while Bayern is like on 54. So I think that Dortmund, they finished 14th in the Champions League, where they lost 2-0 to Inter on the final match day. But they've been doing pretty well. They have players like Karim Adeyemi, Ben Sebaini, Salidou Grossi, the joint top goal scorer with Rafinha of the Champions League last season. and so I think that Dortmund have like this easy game, and yeah, I think Dortmund are gonna go through. The first game is gonna finish 2-1 in Atalanta, in Bergamo, I mean, and then they're gonna finish the job off by winning against Atalanta 2-0. So yeah, I think that Dortmund go through. Now moving on to our next game, Bodo Glimt against Inter Milan. Bodo Glimt surprised everyone by winning against Manchester City 3-1 and Atletico Madrid 2-1, where they were most needed to win. Because if they didn't win, they wouldn't be right now in the knockout stage. But like, fair play to Bodo Glimt. They have been a really, really good team to watch in 2026. So Bodo Glimt, they finished 22nd in the league phase, while Inter finished 13th. Yeah, 13th. Because Inter, starting off with Inter, they were not that good at like toward the end of the match days. They were just like poor. Were like they won some games, but then they lost. After they lost to Atletico Madrid, everything started to crumble, because after that they lost to Liverpool at home 1-0. They lost to the Arsenal 3-1 at their own home ground 3-1, and then but then they beat Dortmund as I previously mentioned, and they have Inter have some players like Lautaro Martinez, Marcus Thuram, Alessandro Bastoni, Nicolo Barella, Johan Ange Boni, Federico Di Marco, etc. Inter have some really good players. The finalists of last season got crumbled, but as I previously mentioned, they won 3-2 in the Derby d'Italia today. What a entertaining game to watch. And I just think that Inter are the way better team, but going away to Bodo Glimt is a very, very tough task. So I think that the first game is going to finish in a 1-1 draw. But Inter, since they've been like scoring a lot of goals recently, they're like the top goal scoring team in the Serie A. They're even first in the Serie A with 61 points, ahead of everyone else in the title race. They're most likely going to win the Serie A, but I think that Inter are going to go through, and they're going to win. And they're going to win 4-0 in the second leg, and I think they're going to advance 5-1 on aggregate. Now, moving on to our next game, where we have Bayer Leverkusen against Olympiacos. So, Olympiacos against Bayer Leverkusen once again. A match that previously happened in the Champions League phase, where Olympiacos were victorious and won 2-0. So, I think that this game, so Leverkusen, I think they're like 4th in the Bundesliga. I haven't really checked. And in the Champions League, they finished like 17th. So I think that like this game could be pretty interesting though, because Olympiacos are 2nd in the Greek league, where they should actually be 1st. Like, come on, it's their own competition. So I think the Leverkusen against Olympiacos might be a very interesting game. So I think that Leverkusen, they have some players like Alejandro Grimaldo, Garcia, Alex Garcia, who else? There go Patrick Schick, Malik Tillman, and yeah, etc. And Olympiacos have players like Ayoub El Kabi, the Moroccan who scores bicycle kicks all the time. So yeah, this game's gonna be very, very close. I think the first game is gonna finish in a 0-0 draw, since Leverkusen got experience of playing there already. And the second leg, I think Leverkusen are gonna win 2-0. So I wish luck to Olympiacos, but I just think Leverkusen are gonna go through. I know there are not some upsets now, but trust me, there will be some soon. So yeah, moving on to our next game, we have Bruges against Atletico Madrid. So, starting off with Club Bruges, they were pretty mid in the Champions League phase, finished 22nd. I think that Bruges, I know they got a point against Barcelona, 3-3 draw, what a game. Not for me, because I had to suffer in that game as a Barcelona fan. They also won 4-1 on their opening game of the Champions League against Monaco. And they also they're like pretty good. They have players like Carlos Forbes, Hans Van Aken. He's very underrated. I think Bruges could like be a threat for Atletico Madrid because Bruges is always a pretty difficult place to go through. But Atletico Madrid I just think they're simply much better because Atletico Madrid third in La Liga as expected, but they have players like Adomeda Lookman, their new signing, Julian Alvarez, Alex Baena, Thiago Almada, who else do they have? Marcos Llorente, Ruggeri, etc. Even Diego Simeone's son plays there, which is crazy. So I think that Atletico Madrid have a very interesting attack and a really solid defense. So, but then Atletico Madrid's last game, oh my god, how do we let them win 4-0? They just beat Barcelona 4-0 in the Copa del Rey. Like, come on, bro, what the fuck was that? It was really bad. Like, actually, man. So I think that Atletico Madrid they're gonna tie 2-2 first against Bruges because Bruges is a very tough place to go, and then they're gonna in the Metropolitano they're gonna win 3-1 because Bruges is always a high scoring team, so I think that it's gonna be. I think Atletico Madrid are gonna win 5-3 overall. So yeah, now moving on to our second to last game, we got Karabakh against Newcastle. Now this game is going to be very, very difficult. Karabakh finished 23rd in the Champions League phase, where they actually pulled off some good results. Like they beat Benfica on the opening match day. They won 3-2 after being 2-0 down. Like what a comeback that was! Memorable comeback. They also got like some key points too, like tying like 2-2 to. We said 3-2 there. That's pretty impressive. They tied 2-2 against Chelsea, which is also pretty impressive, against the world champions. And they lost to Ajax, but then they beat Frankfurt 3-2. But then they got slapped the hell out of Liverpool, 6-0. But Karabakh, I think they've done a massive job in this Champions League. You really have to respect them, and hopefully Barcelona plays them. So I don't know. So Barcelona, that's one Barcelona's possible opponents. The other possible opponent is Newcastle. I know they're doing so bad in the Premier League, 12th right now. I'm filming this after their Carabao Cup game after they beat Aston Villa 3-1. Like Woltemade finally scored a goal after like 11 games or something. But like I think that Newcastle, they finished 13th in the Champions League, just behind PSG or something. So I think that Newcastle, they have players like Nick Woltemade, as I previously mentioned, Johan Wissa, Lewis Hall, Harvey Barnes, Anthony Gordon. He's doing a massive job for Newcastle this season. I just think that this is my first upset. I think that Karabakh, the team from Azerbaijan, are gonna shock them and win 2-0 on the first game. But on the second game, Newcastle are gonna win, but 1-0. I know St. James's Park is a tough place to go to, but I think Karabakh's defense can actually shock Newcastle. So I got Karabakh going through. I just think that Karabakh are gonna pull off the upset and beat Newcastle. Come on, Karabakh. I'm rooting for y'all. And now moving on to our final game, probably the most entertaining game to watch: Benfica versus Real Madrid. Yeah, so these two teams previously met in the Champions League league phase, where Benfica were victorious and won 4-2. Oof, probably the best game of the league phase of match day 8, because even the goalkeeper scored. Trubin scored in the last minute. So yeah, Benfica versus Real Madrid is going to be a peak entertaining game. Starting off with Benfica, they're second in the Portuguese league, which is not bad. And yeah, they have players like Michael Lubin, Richard Rios, Pavlidis, Andreas Scherdeloop, Trubin, Araujo, etc. And yeah, Benfica have some good players, and they finished 24th, barely. If Trubin didn't score that goal, they wouldn't been here. It would have been Marseille instead. So I think Benfica, they just deserve to be here. Trubin, the hero, he deserves all of the praise, man. He really does. But then the next up, Real Madrid. They so like right now they're first in La Liga because they won against Real Sociedad 4-1, and yeah, Real Madrid. Like right now, they lost to Albacete 3-2, which is just embarrassing. In the Copa del Rey, they got knocked out. They have like a realistic chance of winning something. It's the Champions League, so Real Madrid have to go out and beat them. And as they have players like they finished like 9th in the league phase. If they didn't lose, they would have been in the top 8. Which thank God, because I'm a Barcelona fan, and thank God they were not in the top 8. After that Trubin goal, I started going crazy, man. I reacted as usual. I just jumped out of my chair and started going crazy after the Trubin's header. It was crazy. Now, Real Madrid having players like Kylian Mbappe, Vinicius Jr., Jude Bellingham, Gonzalo Garcia, Fede Valverde. The list can go on and on and on. But, like, I don't think... So, I think as much as I want Real Madrid to lose, I think they're gonna lose the first leg 3-2. But Benfica are not gonna hold on, because I feel bad for Benfica. Going to the Bernabeu is such a tough task to go, which sadly I got Real Madrid advancing through instead of Benfica. So I'm sorry, Benfica, but I got Mourinho. I think he's gonna bring back the Champions League aura on the first game, but I got Real Madrid advancing through. So yeah, those are my prediction videos, and yeah, hopefully I don't jinx anything.